Jake was 28 when he walked into the dealership, excited about his first proper car purchase. He'd been saving for 2 years, had £5,000 for a deposit, and was ready to finally own something better than his beaten-up old hatchback. The salesman smiled warmly, showed him a sleek silver sedan, and within an hour, Jake was signing papers. The monthly payment seemed manageable, just £320 a month. He could afford it easily on his salary. He drove off feeling like he'd made it, like he was finally an adult with a proper car. 3 years later, Jake sits at his kitchen table at 2 a.m., staring at spreadsheets on his laptop. He's trying to figure out where all his money goes. That £320 monthly payment seemed so reasonable when he signed up, but now he's realizing something horrifying. He's already paid £11,520 over 3 years, yet he still owes £14,000 on the car. He's paid more than the car was worth used, and he's not even close to owning it. The maths don't add up, or rather, they add up perfectly, just not in his favor. He's trapped in a financial arrangement he didn't fully understand, and the dealership that smiled so warmly 3 years ago isn't returning his calls. Jake's story is repeated millions of times across Britain and America every year. People walk into dealerships focused on one number: the monthly payment. Can I afford £300 a month? 400 libras, 500 libras. That singular focus blinds them to what's really happening. Because car finance isn't designed to help you own a car. It's designed to keep you paying forever. And the economics behind it are so deliberately complex, so intentionally obscured, that most people never realize they're being systematically fleeced until it's too late. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on car finance and show you exactly how this system works. Not the simplified version dealers want you to see, but the real mathematics, the hidden costs, the psychological tricks, and the economic mechanisms that have turned car ownership into a permanent debt trap for millions. What you're about to learn will fundamentally change how you see every car advertisement, every finance offer, and every smiling salesman. Let's start with the basics. In the UK, there are 3 main types of car finance: hire purchase, personal contract purchase, and personal loans. In America, it's mostly auto loans and leases, but regardless of the specific structure, they all work on the same fundamental principle. You pay interest on borrowed money. Sounds simple enough, right? Except the way this interest is calculated, structured, and hidden determines whether you're getting a fair deal or being exploited. Here's what Jake didn't understand when he signed his papers. That £18,000 car he bought wasn't actually £18,000. Once you factor in interest over 5 years at 8.9% APR, which was the rate he got, and it's pretty typical the total amount he'll pay is £24,460. That's £6,460 in pure interest, more than a third of the purchase price, just in interest charges. The salesman never mentioned that total figure. He just focused on the monthly payment, only £320 a month, easily affordable on your salary. The Finance and Leasing Association reported that in 2023, UK consumers had £52 billion in outstanding car finance debt. In America, that number is $1.6 trillion. These aren't just big numbers, they represent millions of individuals like Jake, each paying thousands in interest they probably didn't fully comprehend when they signed. The average car loan in America now carries $6,200 in interest charges over the life of the loan. In the UK, it's typically £4,000 to $7,000 depending on the term and rate. But interest is just the beginning. Let's talk about how car finance really makes money, starting with something called front-loading. This is a technique where the interest you pay is weighted toward the beginning of the loan term. In Jake's first year of payments, roughly 70% of each monthly payment went to interest and only 30% to principal. By the final year, that ratio reverses. This means that for the first several years, you're barely making progress on actually owning the car. This front-loading structure is why Jake has paid £11,520 but still owes £14,000. He's been paying mostly interest. The bank gets their profits secured up front, and you're left with barely any equity in the vehicle. If Jake wanted to sell the car today, he'd get maybe £8,000 for it in the used market, but he owes £14,000. He's £6,000 underwater, trapped in negative equity with no easy way out except to keep paying. The Federal Reserve Bank of New York PUBLISHED. Research showing that 33% of American car loan holders are in negative equity. They owe more than their cars are worth. In the UK, the Financial Conduct Authority found similar rates. This isn't accidental. The finance structure is designed to create this trap. You can't sell the car because you'd still owe money. You can't trade it in because you'd need to roll that negative equity into a new, even larger loan. You're stuck. Now, let's talk about interest rates, because this is where things get really predatory. Jay got 8.9% APR, which he thought was reasonable because the salesman said, rates are higher now. This is quite good, actually. Except the Bank of England base rate at the time was 5.25%. Why is Jake paying 8.9% when the base rate is 5.25%? Because car finance companies add a massive markup. That markup, the spread between the base rate and what you pay, is where finance companies make enormous profit. And here's the disturbing part. Your interest rate isn't really based on it's based on how much the dealer thinks they can extract from you. Studies by consumer advocacy groups have found that people with identical credit scores can be offered rates ranging from 5.9% to 14.9% for the same car, depending on how the dealer sizes you up. TZ's Kayed rate markups, or dealer reserve. In America, dealers are allowed to mark up the interest rate offered by the lender and pocket the difference as extra profit. If the bank approves you at 6%, the dealer might tell you 8.5%, and they keep the 2.5% spread. In the UK, similar practices occur through commission structures. The FCA found that car dealers were earning up to £1,000 per car just from finance commission money that comes directly out of your pocket through higher interest rates. But let's go deeper into the psychological manipulation. Car dealers are trained specifically to avoid talking about the total cost. They have scripts, techniques, tactics, honed over decades to keep you focused on monthly payments. They'll ask, what payment are you comfortable with? Not what total price are you willing to pay. This isn't accidental, it's strategic. Here's how it works. You walk in thinking you can afford £300 a month. The dealer shows you a car priced at £18,000, runs the numbers, and says, great news, we can get you to £300 a month. What they don't emphasize is that they've just extended the loan from 5 years to 7 years to hit that payment. You're now paying for 84 months instead of 60. That feels like a win. You got the payment you wanted. Except you'll now pay £25,200 total instead of £24,460. An extra £740 in interest just by extending the term. The average car loan term in America has stretched from 62 months in 2010 to 68 months in 2024. In the UK, 5-year terms are now standard, with 6- and 7-year options becoming common. Some American dealers now offer 8-year car loans. 8 years. That's longer than most people keep a car. This term extension allows dealers to offer lower monthly payments while extracting more total interest. Edmunds published an analysis showing that the average American now pays $3,000 more in interest over the life of their car loan compared to 2010. That's $3,000 per person. In the UK, similar patterns exist. Extending a car loan from 4 to 6 years typically adds £2,000 to £3,000 in total interest paid. Now let's talk about deposits and trade-ins, because this is another layer of exploitation. Dealers love to say, we'll give you £5,000 for your trade-in. It sounds generous, except your trade-in is actually worth £7,000, and they're lowballing you. But you don't know that because you didn't research the market value. You just hear £5,000 and think it sounds reasonable. The dealer just pocketed £2,000 of your equity. But here's where it gets truly insidious. Gap insurance, paint protection, extended warranties, and other ads. Once you've agreed to the car and the monthly payment, you'll move to the F&I office, finance and insurance. This is where dealers make their highest profit margins. A study by the National Automobile Dealers Association found that F&I products contribute 50% of dealer profits, despite being maybe 15% of your time in the dealership. The finance manager will say, for just £15 more per month, you can have gap insurance that protects you if the car is totaled. £15 a month sounds trivial. Over 5 years, that's £900. For an insurance product that costs the dealer maybe £200 to provide, they're making 350% profit. And this happens with every add-on. Extended warranty, another £20 per month, £1,200 total, £300 cost to the dealer. Consumer advocates estimate that 40 to 60% of car buyers purchase at least one F&I product they don't need, adding an average of £1,500 to £3,000 to the total cost of the car. And because it's rolled into the monthly payment, you're paying interest on these add-ons too. That £1,200 extended warranty at 9% interest over 5 years actually costs you £1,450. You're paying interest on insurance. Now let's talk about PCP, personal contract purchase, which has become the dominant form of car finance in the UK. About 90% of new car finance deals in Britain are now PCP. On the surface, PCP looks brilliant. Lower monthly payments than traditional hire purchase because you're only paying for the depreciation, not the full car value. At the end of the term, you can return the car, pay the balloon payment to own it, or trade it in for a new car. Here's the reality. PCP is designed to keep you in a perpetual cycle of car payments. The balloon payment at the end, called the GMFV, or Guaranteed Minimum Future Value, is typically 40 to 50% of the car's original price, so you pay for 3 or 4 years. Then face a choice. Pay £8,000 to £12,000 to own the car, or hand it back and start a new PCP on another car. Most people can't afford that balloon payment, so they roll into another PCP. They're making car payments for their entire adult life, that never actually owning anything. The Financial Conduct Authority investigated PCP and found that many consumers don't understand they're essentially renting the car unless they make that final balloon payment. Surveys showed that 60% of PCP customers believed they were buying the car, not aware they'd need to make a huge final payment to actually own it. This confusion is profitable for dealers. It keeps the cycle going. Here's the mathematics the dealers don't explain. Let's say you get a £25,000 car on PCP. You put down £2,500, make monthly payments of £280 for 48 months, and have a final balloon payment of £10,000. Over those 4 years, you'll pay £2,500 deposit plus £13,440 in monthly payments, totaling £15,940. Add the £10,000 balloon if you want to keep it, and you've paid £25,940 for a £25,000 car. Except, here's the trick. After 4 years, that car is probably worth £12,000 to £13,000 in the used market, but your balloon payment is £10,000. So you have maybe £2,000 to £3,000 equity. The dealer says, great news. You have £2,500 equity to put toward a new car, so you use that as the deposit on another £28,000 car, and the cycle repeats. You've just paid £15,940 to generate £2,500 in equity. If you'd bought the car outright with a traditional loan, paid it off over 5 years, you'd own an asset worth £12,000 to £13,000 with no more payments. With PCP, you have £2,500 equity and another 4 years of payments ahead. The Institute for Fiscal Studies estimated that someone who uses PCP continuously from age 25 to 65 will pay £150,000 more in total than someone who buys cars outright and runs them longer. Then there's the mileage trap. PCP and lease agreements come with mileage limits, typically 10,000 to 12,000 miles per year. Go over that and you pay excess mileage. Charges usually 10 to 25 pence per mile in the UK, 15 to 30 cents in America. If you drive 15,000 miles a year instead of 10,000, you'll owe £500 to £1,250 in excess charges at the end. Consumer advocacy data shows that 45% of PCP customers exceed their mileage allowance and face these charges. For many, it's a nasty surprise at the end of the term, when they thought they'd just hand back the car and walk away. Instead, they owe hundreds or thousands in excess mileage, plus any damage charges. This often forces them into rolling that debt into the next PCP deal. Let's talk about early termination, because this is another trap. Life happens, you lose your job, get relocated, have a baby, need a bigger car. You want out of your finance agreement. Except terminating early comes with massive penalties. If you try to get out earlier, you're stuck paying the settlement figure, which is usually far higher than the car's market value because it includes future interest. Jake, 3 years into his deal, wanted to get out. His settlement figure was £14,000. His car is worth £8,000. He'd need to find £6,000 just to escape the agreement. He can't afford that, so he keeps paying. The system is designed to prevent exit. Now, let's address the commission scandal that's currently unfolding. In 2021, the UK Court of Appeal ruled that discretionary commission arrangements in car finance were unlawful because they created conflicts of interest. Dealers were incentivized to charge customers higher interest rates to earn bigger commissions, without disclosing this to customers. This has opened the floodgates. Millions of people who took out car finance between 2007 and 2021 may be entitled to compensation, potentially thousands of pounds each. The total liability could exceed £30 billion across the industry. So, what's the solution? First, separate the purchase price negotiation from the financing discussion. Never tell a dealer what monthly payment you're targeting. Negotiate the price as if you're paying cash. Second, get pre-approved for a loan from your bank before visiting dealerships. This gives you leverage. Third, calculate the total amount payable, not just the monthly payment. Fourth, avoid add-ons in the F&I office. Fifth, consider buying used cars outright, or with shorter loan terms. Sixth, read everything before signing. The fundamental problem is that car finance has become predatory by design. The industry has evolved over decades to maximize profit extraction from consumers who are often financially unsophisticated and emotionally invested in getting a car. Every aspect is engineered to obscure the true cost and lock you into expensive, long-term debt. Jake finally understands this now. 3 years too late. He's locked into another 2 years of payments on a car he'll never fully own. He's already planning his next car purchase, and this time, he'll do it differently. He's saving cash, buying used, and avoiding dealer finance entirely. The car finance industry extracts tens of billions annually from consumers through high interest rates, extended terms, hidden fees, manipulative sales tactics, and contract structures designed to prevent ownership. The next time you see a car advertisement promising from just £299 per month, remember what that really means. It means years of debt, thousands in interest, hidden costs, and potentially never owning anything. The real economics behind car finance aren't about helping you afford a car. They're about keeping you paying forever.